Hello, Knight Rider 7602 here, and then like I promised, my next anime review is Full Metal Alchemist. This is one of my favorite animes for good reasons, and I'll get into those later. Now, basically, here's the plot. Full Metal Alchemist, both series, the original first one and Brotherhood, are both about these two brothers, the Ulrich brothers, Edward Ulrich and Alphonse Ulrich. Their mother wasn't really an alchemist, but their father was. They try to follow in their father's footsteps of being an alchemist. Now, where the story starts is actually after. The second episode always like brings out their beginning. So here's what happened. Basically, there was like some kind of epidemic that hit the boy's home, or home, and their mother died. So in the event of trying to save her, they broke the well, wait. Yeah, they try to bring their mother back while using alchemy. That's when things started to turn sour. Edward lost his right leg, while Alphonse lost his whole body. Now, what ended up happening was Edward couldn't live without his brother, so he saves him by bounding his soul through a suit of armor. And Edward went through this thing called the gate, and he saw the thing, like the truth behind truths and all that. And he lost his arm. Ed, Edward and Alphonse became notoriously known for like breaking the law. There is a law of alchemy, like there is the law of equivalent exchange. Like if you wanted, since they had to wanted to bring their mother back, something of equal value must be exchanged. So that for Alphonse's soul and Edward's leg and arm. Now, the reason why the show is called Full Metal Alchemist is because when Alphonse saved Edward, he carried him to this old lady called Granny Punchaniku, and she fixes up Edward with the metal. Well, it's not called metal, but it's called God, automel arm and leg. But now in the event, he can now do Edward can now do alchemy without a transmutation circle. So that scares everybody when they're like, "Oh my gosh!" So he's like the notorious full metal alchemist. But Alphonse still can't. But what winds up happening was the two boys get meet by this military commander known as Colonel Roy Mustang. Kind of funny though, because his name reminds me of a car. But you see, in the beginning, Roy is like talking to them about having the dog of the military and everything. So what winds up happening is Edward becomes a state alchemist. It happens like different ways. In the first series, like Edward had to take this written test, and this in Brotherhood, he actually had to do what he can do, and that was he transmuted the spear thing. That was like his signature weapon in the series. Well, the lint and the arm sword. So what he did was like he threatened to kill Fear Bradley, not literally, but he's like just proving that like you need to be more careful. And the reason why I like this scene was because it reminded me like of some what's the show called, Roni Kenshin, because Fear Bradley just actually stepped and his spear breaks in two. I'm like, how do you do that? And you see his sword in his hands, like, what the heck? How did he draw a sword? But the series then picks up like a few times. You'll pick up like when you meet Shao Tucker. We'll meet Shao Tucker, then we got Scar. We got like all them good characters in there, like Scar, Lust, Envy, Wrath. All those guys are in there. Now, the reason I watched the series was because I was really interested in it. Because really, a lot of things really don't interest me in anime that much, unless it's like really actiony. But this show like had something different. It was like action packed and it was like comedic relief. It normally comes on Adult Swim like about 12. It does come on at 12 actually now because of Brotherhood. But one reason why this series was pretty good for me was because it was funny. Like in the first series, it wasn't really all that funny. It was like trying to be serious, but then sometimes it became funny. Whereas in Brotherhood, yeah, I'm just gonna probably compare this to Brotherhood. as in Brotherhood, they made it more funny. It's like everything else is like not taken as seriously, but it's pretty funny. Or like the animations for the characters are like pretty funny though. Another reason why I like the show is because it has like a lot of great religious complexity talk in it. Basically, like with the episode with Father Cornello, like how he's all like, "You, you guys are sinners and all that." See, I'm a Christian. Yes, I admit that that is kind of much of a sin. You can't bring somebody back from the dead. Okay, I agree with that completely. But see, these guys paid their price, and yeah, talk about God and yeah, the whole series is like basically a whole thing with God, like Father Canelo with the whole sun god thing, and then well, Scar when we meet Scar, he's like, "You are all sinners. All the alchemists are sinners, so I'm going to eliminate all the alchemists." Like that's just a scary dude. But then another reason why I like the series is because it's really nice and sweet when it comes to it. It gets down to like some really nice scenes, some touching scenes that made me cry. He's deaf. If you watch my own best death list, yeah, it was like a sad death for me because I remember watching that episode and I was on the computer watching and I'm starting like crying, like I almost started to cry because I'm like, oh my gosh, he is dead and his daughter. It wasn't so much the death that like got to me; it was with what his daughter said. That was like really that got me in the heart. Plus, yeah, a later note for me. The series also goes on in seasons, like there's season 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each don't have reoccurring characters, but like there will be like reoccurring characters like Rose, Scar, Lust, the Seven Deadly Sins, um, what's the Missy Zumi, Armstrong. All the characters kind of play a key role in the series. We're like as minor characters, there are minor characters too. We'll get into those later. They have their like own ideas, or like they don't play a big role. They don't play as big of a role, but they'll play like comedic relief for some of the episodes. Wow, this show is really amazing when it comes down to it. I know everybody's gonna be like, it's really the first series is really old. Brotherhood is like fresh and new. Everybody's gonna go for the fresh new one. Well, you see, I didn't watch Brotherhood in the beginning. Um, so actually, the one thing that actually surprised me though, I was on watching Adult Swim one night, and I think I was just gonna say like, oh, for old time's sake, let's watch a little bit of Full Metal Alchemist. And then there was the trailer. The trailer for Brotherhood was like amazing. Like there was this voice like you dare to step through the door, and now that door's been open. I'm like, what the heck? Like this is like Full Metal Alchemist like to the max. Um, yeah, it's a pretty good series. Pretty good series. So now I still have a little time left. Let's talk about the scheduling. Right now it is 9:25. Now that does mean two things. I might be doing another video later. I'll probably do another video later. Like I'll probably do the cast, but that's gonna be like a big roster to fill. Then I'm not gonna get into my final thoughts on it, but there will be a new segment actually. There will be a new segment for my anime review things, like the fan couples, like Edward and Rose, Edward and Winry, all those characters. I'll get into those reasons and my personal opinion on the couple. You'll be surprised when I think. Sorry. Now, also, what's a little time left? I'm probably gonna finish up my fanfics in about probably a few days, few weeks time, maybe because I might be doing more videos. So be looking for it in the future. For me, Knight Rider 7602, signing off. Goodbye. Bye.